Excel uses tabs and ribbons to allow you to categorize and bring together a bunch of different options and functions. First of all, starting at the tab level. So right across here, home, insert, page layout, these are all tabs. And like we've talked about before, when you click on a tab, you get a ribbon of options. So for example, the home grouping has a lot of the most common functions that you'll use when working within Excel. For example, cut, copy, and paste is in the clipboard section. You have fonts, the type of font, higher and lower font sizing, different colors of text, and highlighting and bordering and bold, italics, underline. These are all different things that you would typically use when you're formatting with fonts. Also, when you see icons like this with an arrow pointing down, when you click on that, you tend to get a new window or an expanded view of the section that you're looking at. And in this case, it goes to the font tab within a new window called Format Cells. So it gives you a lot of other options here. Some are the same, but then you get some extras. You can get into different types of numbers and categories, alignment, border, fill, and we'll go through more of these as we go through the training and so forth. So this is an extra set of options that you get just by clicking that arrow there. As you can see here, you can also do Control-Shift-F. So if you like keyboard commands, you'll be able to do those commands, and that will open up that font settings box as well. So another grouping here is alignment, numbers, working with styles, cells, options that are specific to cells. When you see things like this with the down arrow, you're going to have some more options available. Back up here with general, it's a drop down arrow as well, and you can also go into more number formats, and that brings us back into that format cells area again. So these are items including editing that's available, and that's the home tab. So as you go to each of these tabs, insert gives you a clue as to what you'll be doing or some options that you'll get. Working with tables and illustrations, apps, different types of charts and reports, spark lines, filters, links. I mean, there's a whole bunch of options that are available here. It's not everything, but it's usually the quickest ones that you tend to go to, and you can actually add things to this or take things away from it. But for now, let's take a look at these. Page layouts, themes, page setups, scaling, different things you want to do with the sheet, with options for viewing grid lines and printing grid lines, arranging items and so forth. So these are really smart tools to work with. You'll work through a whole series on different types of formulas, and there are lots of different formulas that are available. You have huge lists, small lists, but you're going to have a lot of functions to work with and different categories to work with. So formulas is here. Data, doing things like filtering them and sorting data. These are all very good things to do with your data. Grouping, subtotaling, all those different things that make Excel really work with the data so you can interpret it better. Reviewing, this gets into putting in comments, protecting the sheets and the workbooks, tracking changes. So especially if you're collaborating, it's a really good way to see who's done what and what happened, those kinds of things. You have your view section. We'll get into workbook views shortly here. Zooming, different types of window setups, even working with macros is listed here. And after that, depending on what options you have loaded up for Microsoft Office, you may have more tabs, you may have a different tab sitting here. Mine happens to be PDF, ready to save it as a PDF document. You may have other options if you have other PDF file types and options with that software available. So if you start seeing more tabs, it's usually unique to your computer that you're working with. So this is working with the tabs. One of the tabs that's here is File. It's a little bit different in the sense that when you go to File, it goes into things like information. It also gives you some other options that we've seen in other areas, which is typical Microsoft. They tend to give you, 5 different ways to do the same thing from different places. Creating a new workbook, new file, opening something that's already existing, saving, currently doing a save as. You've got print available here with a lot of things to choose different options here, sharing, exporting, closing, and that will, if I click on this will close the file. We'll get into areas for the account. This is dealing with Office 365. We've got other options when I click on this, and this gets us into all kinds of different areas. So there's a lot here, just as you can see, and then you can do add-in. So just give it that one more view down here. Going back, notice you don't see the different tabs up here anymore. You just click the arrow and it brings you right back here. So tabs and ribbons. And there's one more thing I want to show you. I'm going to squeeze this in a little bit because this is new. This right up here gives us ribbon display options. So right now when I drop this down, we're listed at show tabs and commands. So everything is on here, everything is listed, but if I click on this one, show tabs, it's just showing the tabs, which makes sense why they call it that. And when you click on it, it'll drop that list down, and when I click away from it, it basically hides it. Okay, there's another option here, auto hide ribbon. So it hides the ribbon. Click at the top of the application to show it. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to bring us to the top of the page. You'll see up here no tabs or ribbons are available. So as you move up to the very top, you'll see a little light faint green up here, but as you click up here, it'll bring all of those tabs and commands, ribbons, all the way back to the forefront, and it covers up your spreadsheet. So depending on how much you're going to work with tabs, you may want to auto hide that, and when you click away from it, they automatically hide for you. So it's a good way to manage when you just want to work on more of the spreadsheet. Then when you need it, you just go back up and click, and those options are available for you. So to put that all back, you just go back to working with the options for the different tabs, showing tabs and commands, and when you change that, it'll go to whatever view that you like. So smart way to work with tabs and ribbons.